if you're wondering, does your state offer the natural hair care program, be sure to check out my YouTube video on how to get your natural hair care license, because I go over a lot of states that do offer it and it is very informative. So if you haven't already, be sure to watch that video before you watch this video. This video is for all of my natural hair care students who have finished their schooling and who are interested in passing their exam. What's up, Naturalistas? If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I am a natural hair care specialist. I'm coming up on 2 years and I'm here to help you get your license. You have finished school and now it is time to ace that exam, baby. I passed all of my exams with flying colors and I just want to be able to share some of that knowledge and wisdom to you all so that you can pass with flying colors and that you can know what to expect. First things first, if you're wondering what's going to be on the theory exam, worry no more, because I have a full practice test and it is going to be an amazing guide to learning what is on the test, what questions you should expect, and the format. So if you're interested, please head over to the TailoredHairCollection.com. Again, this is something that I have personally done. It is not hard, but if you weren't prepared by your school, you may be a little confused. So I'm going to go ahead and go over everything that you will be asked to do so that you will not be confused when you get there, because I'm going to tell you, it's some schools out here who don't be preparing you. And when I got to my natural hair care exam, it was some people over here who just was doing whatever they wanted to do, who just was confused. And I don't want you to be confused. I want you to pass with flying colors, okay? Cool. So we're going to get into the state board evaluation breakdown. So when you get there, you're going to walk in, you're going to say your name, you have to be quiet, you can't have no electronics, and you're just going to be in a room. You're going to have your own space. It's going to be like taped off or kind of like sectioned so that you can't move anywhere else but your space, okay? You're going to set up for your client. You will have 2 clients, but you will be doing it on 1 mannequin. And this is something that your teacher will explain more to you about, or should have explained more to you about. If you are confused, please go look at my natural hair care video. It says I got my natural hair care license. Go ahead and look at that video so you can see how I packed for state board, and you can see like kind of how I labeled my bags. There is like a quick clip in there, and you want to make sure that you have your bag packed so that everything is easy to take out and you don't have to worry about, you know, messing up nothing or missing anything. So your first task is going to be to get your work area and your client prepped, okay? You're going to be disinfecting all of your areas. You're going to sanitize your stuff, make sure everything is labeled. You're going to be performing your hair and scalp analysis, which is going to be very important. People are going to forget to do a hair and scalp analysis. Before you do anything, and this is in real life too, before you do anything working on your clients, you want to make sure that you are parting their hair and just looking at their scalp. And the people who are going to be judging you are going to be looking to make sure that after you've disinfected and cleaned everything and set all your products out, that you are, you know, looking at the person's scalp, which is your client, which is your mannequin. They're going to make sure you're looking at the mannequin and looking through their scalp to analyze it. And then after all of that, you're going to dispose of everything in the proper manner, which means your bag, which is your trash bag, which you should already know all about. So at this point, you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then this video is not for you, which means you haven't been to school or you haven't been, you know, properly taught. So this is something that you'll want to go back to your books. You want to make sure that you go study a little bit more, because this video is for the advanced and for people who are really getting ready to take their test. And I just want to let you guys know what to expect at your testing site. So again, after you've done all of that, you're going to go ahead and dispose all of your items and you want to step back, okay? And you have 15 minutes to prepare your client 1 and to prepare your work area. Section 2 is going to do your visible cornrow braid with an extension. So you're going to be doing a braid like this and you're going to be adding in hair. So you want to make sure that you can see, you know, the extension at the top, and then you're going to be braiding it in, and that is going to be your first step. It's just to do a visible cornrow braid, and you're going to have 15 minutes to do this. The third step is going to be doing invisible cornrow braid. So the invisible cornrow braid is the braid that I actually did show in my state board video test. That is the one that I was practicing on the day before or the day of the test, because that one for me was a little bit harder, and that's the braid that is going to be inverted. So it's not going to look like this, which is what a normal braid looks like on top. It's going to look like this, and that is what those goddess braids usually look like. To make sure that your mannequin is draped correctly, you want to make sure that you are disposing your items in the right bins, and you want to make sure that when you're done, you sanitize and step back. Number 4, you want to do your box braid. It can be a knotless braid, it can be a braid, as long as you are doing, you know, a box braid with hair extensions added. So this is what I was kind of practicing on, was my knotless, but for this it would look like this. You want to have a nice box, and you want to make sure that you are adding in actual braiding here to this. So once you are done doing the box braid, you're going to step back. They are going to judge your final appearance, and then they're also going to judge how you take down the braid. So at this point, you want to make sure that you just kind of get a comb, or you can use your fingers, and you're going to literally unravel the braid, and they are going to watch you take it down. So they're going to be watching to see how rough you are, and pretty much, like, you know, if you're pulling out the client's hair. So what I did, because I did go ahead and braid all the way down, they don't want the braid to be all the way to the floor, so I would make sure that you don't get like a super long piece of braiding hair, but you do want to just kind of braid all the way down, and then you're going to take a comb. They're going to watch you, and you're going to take the braid apart piece by piece, plait by plait, until the whole extension is out. Your client 1, you're going to be doing 3 styles, and you're going to have 15 minutes for the visible cornrow braid with the extension. You're going to have 10 minutes for the invisible cornrow braid, and you're going to have 10 minutes for the box braid. Okay, so make sure that you're not moving too slow, but 10 minutes is a lot of time for those braids, so you should be fine. Same thing that you did in that first step when you first started the exam, you're going to do that in your second part. You're going to disinfect all your areas, you're going to sanitize, you're going to make sure that you put out all of the supplies that is needed for your client 2. You're going to perform your scalp analysis, you're going to make sure everything is disposed in the right bags, you're going to sanitize, and you're going to step back. After you are finished preparing for client 2, you will be braiding for the sew-in. So say this is the braid, you're going to braid it right here. If you have any loose pieces of hair, you are going to pull the hair back, hold it, and then you're going to sew the braid down. So at the end of my braid, it looks like this. Hope you guys can get my drift here. It's going to look like this basically. And you're going to sew this down, and this is what you're going to be using to sew your weft onto. Once that's done, you're going to have your oil bottle. You're going to fake apply oil to the braid, and then you are going to make sure your drape is fine, all of that stuff. The examiner will ask you to apply the oil, so you don't want to do it unless the examiner comes over to you and lets you know, okay, go ahead and apply the oil. And you're only going to have 10 minutes to do the braid for the sew-in, so once you are done, make sure you sanitize and step back. Then they are going to let you know it is time to attach the weft. They are going to be looking at the final appearance of the weft. Make sure that you are being careful not to poke your client. They will be looking for that, and you're just going to attach the weft like you normally would, sew it on. Make sure that you dispose of everything properly, and make sure that you are removing the hair from the work area, any of the hair that fell on the floor, all of that. You want to make sure it's disposed correctly. You're going to sanitize, and you're going to step back. And again, you're going to have 15 minutes to do this. You're going to be moving into blood exposure, which is basically where they're going to see if you know what you're doing once you are like accidentally cut or whatever. So you're going to make sure that you are removing your materials from the first aid kit. You're going to make sure that the supplies is visibly clean. You're going to clean your injured areas with the antiseptic. You're going to dress the area that is hurt, and then you're going to use your gloves to like cover the part that is cut. You want to make sure that you have your glove on for the rest of the exam. They are going to be looking at that. If you take the glove off just because you're done with one section, that will be a big penalty, because you have to act like you are cut for the rest of the time. So make sure that you are disposing of all of the contaminated items in the right bag. You're going to have 10 minutes to do your blood exposure. Make sure this is something that you practice on your own before you get there, because blood exposure exposure was something that was kind of tedious. There are certain steps that you have to make sure that you're following. After blood exposure, you will be doing the last part of your test, which is going to be your flat iron. You're going to have 2 minutes to set up for your flat iron test, and you want to make sure that you are plugging in everything, disposing of anything that you didn't need on your station, and make sure everything is sanitized. And you want to test your flat iron with a white tissue paper. Now, I think this is something that I did forget to do. It was only maybe like 3 points off or something like that, but I don't think I remembered to test my flat iron. Yeah, I don't think I did. But you want to make sure that you remember to test your flat iron with a white piece of tissue paper, and then you're going to be flat ironing the hair that you previously took down from the WEFT. And that is going to be it for your exam. You're going to be cleaning up everything, and you're going to leave. You're not going to be able to talk to anybody. You want to make sure you're out the building before you talk. I think once we all walked out, we talked about how easy it was, and then we went home. If you are worried about what is on the theory test, again, make sure that you check out the TaylorHairCollection.com, because I do have a practice test that you can get. And this is all for the practical, okay? I wish you guys luck on your practical. Make sure you are just calm, going in there with positive spirits, and you're going to do great.